I'm Bobby Pierre with TAPinto, and I'm here with Zulma Cheung, the Chief Operating Officer from FACT, which is Family and Community Together. Welcome, Zulma.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for joining me. I want to learn, I spoke with Anthony a few weeks ago, and he is the CEO of FACT, and we really talked about all the services that you offer. And I want to find out about your role and how you really are trying to be the wraparound care for families that need services in the county of Union County.
Right. So yes, thank you. So 20 years I was drawn to the children's system of care and the services provided in New Jersey because of the wraparound model and the way that it was really presented. Even back then when I had first gotten out of college, they wanted to implement a service delivery care coordination model that really would embrace the integrity of the children and families in which we were serving. 20 plus years ago, the way that it started is that you had to come in through a certain door in order to access services. And usually the way that I saw it, it was very reactive. So what the state was trying to do was bring everybody together to the table, which in turn turned into the child and family team, but bringing all systems to the table. When you have welfare, bringing the schools in, bringing the legal system in. So what I've done in the years that I've been part of the children's system of care and its evolution was really making sure that we maintain that best quality practice standards, because the families, their needs, being so crisis driven, all the trauma that we face, it becomes overwhelming for those people that are really going into the families' homes, and making sure that our care managers and all our staff understood the purpose and the value of what they were doing and how that spoke and how wraparound really spoke to all of that. The strengths discovery and setting up ground rules in the beginning of a meeting and taking the time to actually thank the child for coming to the table and be part of this treatment planning. So my role especially in the last couple of years here at Union, has been to make sure that we have the fundamentals in place, our back to basics, and then being able to use that as a platform to elevate the services that we're providing.
Now, can you describe a little bit what back to basics is?
It's exactly what it is. It's just remembering that that in the midst of everything, really pulling away the layers and remembering that basic fundamentals, courtesies, go so far when engaging a child and their family, and especially system providers. So like I said, even with the ground rules, something so simple as, when you bring in the team together, it's really difficult to do that process, to figure out who all the players are, coordinate your calendars, get everybody there, and giving that child and that family a voice. Right. You would agree to what I'm saying. You agree that this is the path that we need to go on, but then remembering, thank you for being here today. It says a lot about you.
Courtesy.
And you want to be in the future. Right? So it's remembering those basic courtesies. And again, let's say doing the face-to-face visits, sometimes we forget that, yes, it's a job and it's a process, but there's meaning behind it. Really checking out and saying, how are you doing? How are the services going? Are you happy with the way things are going? Do you want the team to come back together and do any modifications? So when I mean back to basics, that's what I really mean.
Right.
It's just,
so
really.
Can you remind me of the services that are available? So it's a wraparound, it's a true wraparound, and that can involve a lot of different types of services. Can you remind me what's involved in that?
Sure. The service, when we think about service delivery or strategies, because we don't want all treatment planners to be service driven. Mm-hmm. That's why we talk so much about what the strengths are. Sometimes something as easy as putting in a strategy to say, we're going to get you up in the morning. You got to get up at 6:30. That way there's no crisis because you don't want to go to school. Something as simple as getting the child an alarm clock. It could be something that simple, or a certain color of an alarm clock. So partnering with the schools, obviously there's the clinical piece, the outpatient services. There's in-home therapists now that go to the home, but you have behavioral assistants, you have mentoring, the YMCA. and really also pulling into the grassroots community services, not so much what we can think of outside the box, but what really is already available in a family's community that they don't even know how to access.
And what you're bringing to the table is you have been there for a very long time, and you've been involved in the training of the people that are part of this wraparound. So
Right.
you've seen a lot, and you have the experience to put it together.
You know, and I also think that sometimes you don't think of care coordination as a service, but it really is. You know, it's not a planned success or not isn't really dictated on how many services you have in place. It's just how many people you really have invested into this process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So care coordination itself to me is a service, the way we facilitate and bring people together and help children and families navigate what's already there. They just don't know how to access it.
And this
So
is for children from 5
up until their
20.
21st birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, and some with the DD population is a little bit longer, just to ensure that they're coordinated to the adult services.
Mm-hmm. So I know that we had spoken last week, and this is based on a national model that has worked. So can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, well, the wraparound model is an evidence-based practice that came out of Milwaukee, that was then adopted by New Jersey because of the nurturing essence of it. You know, it's not a process where we're going to dictate and or we reject a family because we don't deal with that type of issue or we don't understand that type of population. We have the no reject, no eject, and then the 10 principles of wraparound. You know, community-based, informal supports. And there's 7 others that I can't think of right now off the top of my head. But so, and we've stuck with it ever since and really just built upon that wraparound model, which is, of course, you know, not just the child or the problems and looking at what's happening in the surface, but really be able to provide an overview of what that family really needs, not just for that child to survive in that family, but not survive, but
thrive.
Right? Thrive, and be empowered within their own family unit as well. So what does that family need to be successful?
Great. And this is statewide, even though you represent Union County, this is a statewide children's services program.
Absolutely. So they would, you know, any family that or child that needs help or assistance or services or resources or someone to talk to, they would contact the Perform Care number, and then Perform Care really does that triage. So unfortunately, a family can't call us directly and say we want services, but they would start at the Perform Care level, and then they would make the determination if the child needed this level of care.
Great. Well, thank you so much for this information. And
thank you so much.
We'll continue this conversation at another time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bobby.